Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you may be on this dark and dismal morning here in Great Britain, jolly old Britain. The sun is due out, probably in June. It is very, very dark and dreary again today. So I thought I would cheer myself up by looking at I grabbed a handful of randoms, basically. So I thought we'd have a look at those, and it helps keep the wolf from the door, so to speak. So what am I looking at initially here? Well, you can see I've got the artificial light on again. But this is actually just a single card with the face of Her Majesty the Queen upon it. And her face, her silhouette, is made up of various stamps from around Britain and around the world, around the Commonwealth. For example, Canada there, Australia, Britain, Australia again, Virgin Islands, Canada, and there you have it. Machin's, there's Wildings. It's a silhouette. It's a bit of a keepable. It's not it may be a collectible, but it has nothing to do with stamps. There's no stamps been. Oh, Hong Kong there. It's a simple card, but I suppose if you're making a presentation, that would be quite a nice introduction to it. So what else have I grabbed hold of? Well, I decided to have a little look at Jersey. We've got some nice stamps here, the 1.5p to pay. These are mint. 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, 25, 50. Not sure why they leave certain numbers out. Probably you make up your own, like the 9 is missed out, so you'd have 3 3s. Or 6 and a 3. I don't know. I'm sure there's a boffin somewhere who knows or who decided that. We'll have a look at these other ones here, which are slightly out of sync a bit. These were Jersey. These are Guernsey bailiwick. Postage due. What's the difference between postage due and to pay? That's another question, isn't it? And these seem to be overprints, and yet they shouldn't be for some reason. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Why there would be what seems to be like an overprint. Because a shilling there, because there's nothing else on it that suggests it was anything else but that particular value. I don't know. But it's interesting what you can glean, the difference immediately between to pay and postage due. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have even thought about what they actually mean? Now, they must mean something different, otherwise it wouldn't be different, it would be the same. And of course, in today's stamps, or even yesterday's stamps, it just had the value on it, and you would pay what was on the face value of the stamp, without this to pay and postage due. Maybe it was more trusting times back then, particularly in the bailiwick of Guernsey and the island of Jersey. Again, I don't know. But that's a nice little presentation pack within the stock setting. You keep them nice and clean and nice and tidy. So next we return to Jersey again. So another set of these. We'll put them together so you see it's the same. So somehow I managed to get 2 50p there. I think the other thing that we can glean from this is these are pre-decimal, and these are post, if I can use that, decimal. You know, the P's and the D's. So that's a nice couple of things there. Nice and mint, nice and clean, nice and well preserved. We next go to the British Philatelic Bureau. 30 years in Edinburgh, British Philatelic Bureau, 20 Brandon Street, Edinburgh. Does it still exist? I don't know. It'd be worth looking up, wouldn't it? So if you've got a moment, look it up and let me know. I may look it up after. Edinburgh, 12th of August 1996. And we're looking at the Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgot? So a Robert Burns stamp. I have one or two of those. Robert Burns being the third person apart from the monarch who appeared on the GB stamp. The first was William Shakespeare, the second was Sir Winston Churchill, and the third being Robert Burns, the great man himself from Scotland, who died very young, but Burns Night is still a massive thing today in Scotland and all over the UK, I'd say, and everyone's heard of Robert Burns, even though they may not know anything about him. But a great poet who used the Scottish dialect, would you call it, or the way the Scotsman would speak to create poetry, to create culture, retain the language. And of course, Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgot? Everybody probably sings that on New Year's Eve. So that's a nice little, and then 30 years there. So that's quite a nice little cover. Anything on the back? House of Questa, who produced it. Reproduced by the permission of the trustees of the National Library of Scotland. So they're using the Burns stamp to emphasise the library of the National Library of Scotland. That's quite nice. Next, we're back to the Queen. And here we have Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Diamond Jubilee, a lifetime of service here, 1952 to 2012. So that gives you an idea when this came out. A Diamond Jubilee Council, 6th of February 2012, London SW1, a £1 10p Elizabeth II stamp. Lovely photograph of the Queen, that's very beautiful, very regal. And here we have her coat of arms, would you say? I would probably. And then here, because every envelope, if it's postally used, has to have an address to be sent to, this looks like Poole, which is in Dorset. Mercury PO Box 4848 Poole. Now, whether this was picked up at the post office, ordered, I don't know. I don't know about these things really. Usually what I would do, if I was making my own, when I used to make my own postal covers, I'd just I'd try and type it on for neatness sake, but sometimes I would just write. I was more interested in the stamp and the cancel, and when they stopped doing the proper cancels, I mean that's the special cancel, but when you get a good old cancel with the name of a town on it, back in those days, that interested me a lot. I have less interest these days, but that's a very lovely crown and sceptre mace photograph of Her Majesty. Yes, next we're back to the Channel Islands, and here we've got Jersey Tickler. So what have we got here? Well, we got 4 stamps, so 16p. We've got complete set 16p, 22p. Gemini here, which is 50p. And the Percy Douglas 57p. So the only one I didn't mention was this one. Can I zoom into that? Hebe. So 4 cutters, or I would say cutters, ships delivering mail and the like. to Jersey. So that's quite a nice little thing. Is there anything else underneath here? Seems possibly to be something. But we'll pull it out because I can always pull it back after. Well, it is actually shipbuilding in Jersey, which is being celebrated. So it's a miniature. We're talking miniature sheet. Well, I don't know. It's 4 stamps anyway that were produced in 1991, featuring particular Hebe, Gemini and Percy Douglas. Stamps were designed by Alan Kopp, printed in 4 colour offset lithography. House of Quester were very big with stamps. Again, are they still going? I don't know. Where is Jersey? Well, here is England, the tip of England here. Sillies would be around there. France is there. Jersey, Sark, Guernsey, Alderney. All these, of course, became German possessions in the Second World War. St Helena is the chief port of Jersey, but then were sort of abandoned it towards the latter days of the war. And there's some very interesting philately associated with Jersey and the Channel Islands around those occupation years. But you see how close it is to France. Shipbuilding in Jersey, this would be the sheetlet that you would get. I just have the 4 individual stamps. You have a nice little coin there to go with it. Yeah, so that's quite nice. Possibly it has to be folded over that away so that these can fit nicely within it. So, what have we got next? We go next to the Guernsey Post Office. Mint stamps, Rupert and Friends. And here we have Rupert the Bear. Everyone call his name. Rupert the Bear. Everyone come and join in all of his games. Very popular comic. Roger... Does that say Roger? No, that's Rupert characters, trademark, Express newspapers. So what we're looking at is a character here from the Daily Express, Sunday Express maybe, which had a comic strip of Rupert. Basically aimed at children. Well, aimed at children, of course it was, because it is a children's thing, the elephant here and the pug dog. Yeah, I don't need a badger. I don't know the other names, I only know Rupert. He was very popular and very recognisable with his scarf, and this is how schoolboys would dress back in the day. So when was this issued? Well, 1993. Designer John Harold, it says. Printer Walsall Security. Values, 4 of them. Oh, sorry, 2 of them, 2 values. Which is a 16 and a 24. But 4 of each of those. Offset lithography, I don't know what that means. 107 GSM, not sure about that. Size of stamps, yeah, size of sheetlet, 24p stamp showing Rupert himself is available as a sheet of 2 times 25. So that's 2 times 25. Well, I don't know, that says 24, so maybe there's some sort of error there. But that's the one of him on his own, so to speak. Yeah, so that's quite nice. When was Rupert created? 1920 by the look of it. Mary Tortel first appeared 8th of November 1920 in the Daily Express. So it has lasted, certainly up until this date, which was 1993 when it's been celebrated. Whether it's still going to this day, I don't know. That's probably more homework for me and you. I don't know. And finally, we've got Queen Elizabeth Jubilee, 1977. So this would be the Silver Jubilee, and there are stamp sheetlets associated with this. So there we have Philip and Elizabeth. She looks like Princess Anne there a lot. Princess Anne there and Captain Mark Phillips. Next we've got Royal Family again. So Charles and Anne, maybe. The Queen saying hello to someone. We have the Queen here, trooping the colour probably, and here inspecting Empire people. Lots of travelling overseas. 1952 to 77. This was probably the height. 77 would probably be. She became very popular in the end, but the height of her popularity round about the Silver Jubilee. There were street parties and the like. Here we got the Prince of Wales. He's looking like Prince Charles there, but that's that's Duke of Edinburgh, I think. More stuff. You get Nehru. He was a card. Here we got some more. Queen Mother. You get the idea. Many sheets handing over the World Cup to Bobby Moore and the royal family themselves there. And with it came a little information booklet, a leaflet that you could tear the stamps off. You'd never do it, and put them and stick them in the hinge them into this album. So that is it for now. Hope you've enjoyed this little trawl through some extras that I've grabbed this morning, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. 16 minutes have gone. I've overstayed my welcome. Have a great day, everybody, and bye for now.